Hi, okay, so since I'm here, I figured, or since I got this like cool looking camera and whatnot, I figured I would tell you the story that I mentioned in my vlogs. So a lot of my, I guess, story times are gonna be addendums, I think that's what they're called, to my vlogs, because my vlogs are already super long and they're always me rambling. But I need like a separate video just to kind of, in case anybody just wants to hear that story and doesn't want to like see what else happened that day. Most of the other stuff is just to give background. But anyways, let me tell you about this racist girl in my class. Okay, so I'm in graduate school. I came to this program in August, and then so end of August we started school, but we didn't even have our classes or anything until we went to orientation, and then we went to advising, and then they told us like all our classes. So I remember the day of orientation I met this girl, and so I'm gonna call this girl Kathy. So yeah, I met Kathy, and she was like super nice and everything. So what I found out was that my program had like 3 different paths to go on, and in the path I was in, it was actually more geared toward PhD students. So that means the classes would be smaller, and we actually had a class where we had like, yeah, one class where it was just me, this girl Kathy, and 2 other guys in the class, and that's it. For a while we had 2 classes like that, but then 2 more people were added to our class, right? So anyways, we would be in class together and we would have to do all this stuff, but I remember I met her at orientation, so that's what I'm saying. And I just remember she was really nice and like talkative, and I knew I was going to be seeing a lot of her and the other guy, and everyone seemed super nice in the program and everything seemed so awesome and great, right? So then so I'd been talking to this girl for a while, and there were a few red flags that started to come up, but obviously just like when I'm dating someone, like I don't really think it's like that big of a deal, but it was important. So anyways, so I guess like the first week I met her, we started hanging out more, and we were like, hey, you want to get like books together and stuff? Like we went to a little orientation thing. We had so much in common. Like we would always have these combos, and we just seemed to be on the same page, and like everything was super cool, right? So then I remember the first week in particular, like I had already hung out with her a couple days, and she was like, hey, like because I think I took the shuttle or the bus to school, and so because I didn't want to drive, I was a little bit anxious about driving downtown in the city and next to the university. I was like, I don't know about parking, whatever. So then she even gave me a ride home and like did all the stuff, and we were like talking, and then eventually I even gave her a ride home like another time that I was driving, and she was like freaking out because she's like, oh my gosh, like she was saying like I drove crazy or something because I drive like a grandma, like I drive really slow. So I wasn't offended like then, but like little stuff kept building up. So I guess the one main story that like was her kind of storyline, if she was a character, is that she had this fiance. She was engaged to this black man that she met in college, and so I remember she was telling me the story, and she's told me the story like several times, that her fiance actually met this girl online and like broke up with her like for that girl, even though they were engaged and they were together for like years. And so I was like, wow, like, you're really strong and like all this stuff, like I thought like she kind of learned stuff about herself, and I thought like, wow, what a really nice girl. And I thought it didn't really matter that like she was white and her fiance was black, like it never was like a thing. Like I thought that kind of meant that she understood something, I guess. I don't know, I guess that's what I thought, right? So then days later, like a whole bunch of stuff later, you know, she would bring up her fiance a lot in class and outside of class, and there was even one point where like I helped her like stalk him on Facebook because she was blocked, and so she just went and looked through, and apparently her ex-fiance was engaged to this other girl. So then I just remember like she never like brought up the issue of race, right? And then I just remember another time she had said something though that was kind of weird. Like we had already been hanging out, studying together and doing all this stuff, and she was helping me in class, and I thought she was this really great girl. And then so I just remember that I wanted to join this group that's for like Black graduate students. And so I remember saying, oh, I really have to make it to this meeting. And then the first thing she said was, she was like, wow, like I really wish like groups like black aimed groups, black centered groups would be like more inviting to like other people. And then she was like, yeah, because like I almost was gonna like have a black child. And so I just looked at her like, what? You know, like I just kind of looked at her like, honey, there's never been a black group in my entire life that was ever just exclusive to black people. Like I've never seen one, and there's never been one. Seriously, there's never, like in a school, in a university, like nobody really cares if you showed up. Like I would say black people are the most inclusive group ever, and we really do not care. The only thing we're trying to do is empower not only black people but other colored people, or just people in general, empower people to care about black issues. And it's aimed toward black issues. It's not exclusively for black people, if that makes sense. Like, what? Anyways, so I didn't really get that, but I think my response was something like, well, you can just come to the club if you feel that way, because like that's something you could figure out if you come to the club. That's basically what I said. Like I hadn't been to the club myself, but I said like that's definitely something like you could learn in the club, like you should come. And she's like, oh yeah. So then flash forward to when I actually went to the meeting, right? I went to the meeting, and so I went by myself. Then like a couple weeks later, like we started growing apart a little bit after that happened. Like I just kind of felt a certain type of way. Like she just seemed not all together mentally, which I kind of get. Like graduate school makes you like that. And she's like PhD and I'm master's, so like we're kind of, you know, she has like different stuff that she does. Anyway, so we started growing apart. Then we met up for like class or something, and after, I guess she just kept making these assumptions that I had like nothing to do. And so she'd be like, oh, you should do this and you should do that and blah blah blah. And we both ended up not liking our program, and she was kind of telling me like, hey, you should apply to this program and this program, which in my head I'm thinking I already did that, but whatever. So then we were talking about how much like we had in common still, even though I was kind of like, you know, hesitant to hang out with her. So then flash forward to freaking like a couple meetings after I went to the like black graduate group. Then I said, hey, like the black graduate students are having like a drinking night, like did you want to come with me? Like it starts at like 6 and it was like 5 something, you know? And she was like, oh no, like that's okay, like I won't go. She's like, I don't want to be like the only white person there. And I'm just like, okay, well honey, like I'm the only black person like everywhere I go, you know what I mean? It's kind of like weird. So then I was like, okay, like you see what I'm saying? Like first she claimed like, oh, they should be more inclusive. Then I invite her and her excuse is, oh, I don't want to be the only white person there. And I'm pretty sure there was other ethnicities there, but that's not something that I would say like, oh, I don't want to go to this place because I'm gonna be the only black person there. Then I probably wouldn't go to a lot of places, to be honest with you. Anyways, so that was another situation that I was like, okay, I'm watching her. So we were like, we probably did like one more thing together, like we went to the mall or like something. Sorry, the lighting's changing. It's because I'm like using the window as like light. So yeah, we did like one more thing, like, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, so we did like one more thing together, like we went to the mall or something, and I just realized like this girl is like unstable and I don't really want to hang out with her. So I like slowly like went away from her. It wasn't so much she was saying anything else that was kind of racist, it was more so that she really just was like a little bit crazy. So I don't even know how to describe that. It was just like she would just do stuff and say stuff that I thought was weird. So anyways, here's like the final thing that I was like, okay, so we'd already grown apart and we weren't hanging out that much, and that was like apparent. But even the teachers seemed to like kind of point that out, and he would be like, oh, you should hang out with her, like she can help you a lot. And I'm just like, the teacher had his own problem. But anyways, let me get to the juicy stuff. So the finale that like really I wish I would have like punched this girl in the face is that we went to class, and so I think I need to make another video, that I was dating this guy last semester, and so I like, he kind of broke up with me, right? And so it was kind of a sore subject, and I was like kind of dating this other guy, but I didn't even know if we were dating yet. Anyway, so I just like had to deal with this breakup with this other guy, and then this girl goes and she's like, oh, so we hadn't talked that much. I walk into class, and remember there's only 2 other people besides me and her, so I have to sit next to her because there's no other like seats there. So I sit next to her and I'm like, please don't talk to me, please don't talk to me. And then she's like, oh, are you still dating that guy? Because we had also, I don't know if I mentioned, we went on a double date, and like also BT dubs, on that double date we went on, she mentioned her ex that cheated on her to the guy that she was on a double date with. Like, I don't know if that's normal, but that was kind of weird. And then anyways, so she asked me if I was still going out with that guy, and I was like, no, I'm not. And I sounded like hella rude when I said it because I was still bitter about it, and I was still mad that like she was freaking crazy, you know, and she wasn't really helping. So anyways, so then she's like, oh, well, I'm dating these 2 guys right now that I met like on dating apps or whatever. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I obviously wasn't listening because I'm so over this girl already, right? And this is the last day of class. I just wanted to like get it over with. The teacher only told us to come so he could give us our last papers. And then she's like, yeah, one guy is like this really like cute guy, and he like has a really nice job, and he's like almost 30 and like whatever. And then I'm like, okay. And then she's like, this other guy, he doesn't really have that great of a job, but I've been dating him since like last week or whatever. And I'm like, okay, like why are you telling me this, you know? So then she goes and she's like, she shows me the pictures. So the first guy she was talking about looked like a light-skinned black guy who she was saying like, oh, he works at like an auto shop, I think, or something. She was like, so his job's not really that great, which I'm like, okay. You know, I guess if you're a college student, maybe that's how you think. But then she's like, oh, but this other guy, I don't remember what he did, but I guess the main focus was that he like had reservations at a really fancy restaurant downtown, and it was supposed to be really good, and it was like this tall like hipster looking white guy with like black glasses. And then so I was like, okay, cool. You know, I was just kind of like, okay, can we get this class over with? Like, class hadn't even started yet. Help me. So then she proceeds to like look at me, and she's like, I don't know which guy to choose. And then she's like, this is gonna sound really bad, but like there's no way I'm bringing a black guy home and fighting my grandparents to date him if he doesn't even have a good job. And as soon as she said that, I just like put my hands in front of my face and prayed to Lord Jesus and all heavens above that she did not just say that to me, but she did. And I covered my face and I just said, please stop, please stop, please stop. And she just kept going and she was like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I couldn't even hear anything else that she said because I was just so shocked. And then I looked at the other guy in the class and I'm pretty sure he was shocked too, but like, what the hell are we gonna say? Like, so I just looked at her and I was like, this is where I'm saying I should have just punched her in the face, because it's one thing to be ignorant, but it's a whole nother thing to start the sentence off with, this is gonna sound bad. Like, if you already know it's gonna sound bad, why in the hell would you say it? Like, that's what I don't get. So then I just turned to her because I was already exhausted. Like, I'm already exhausted from this university right now, but I was more frustrated with her. And I was like, honestly, like, if I brought home any type of person, my parents would be like, or my grandparents would be like, as long as he makes you happy and takes good care of you, that's all that matters. And so she just looks at me, and I guess she was confused herself because she didn't realize how much, I don't know what was going through her head from the beginning, so I don't know what was going through her head then, but she's like, oh yeah, like, it's just like my grandparents, whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever, biatch. So, and that's it, like, bye. Like, I don't even know, like, what would you say? Like, what do you even say to that? Like, to this day, like, it's just pointless to me. Like, it's not even like, to me it's like it's worthless to try to like argue with this person who clearly like doesn't understand. Like, you claim that you were gonna be a parent to a black child, but you don't understand the basic, like, you don't even understand the basic empathy that comes with talking to a black person. Like, I really hope like she does not end up with a black man, because that is just destructive in itself. Like, I cannot imagine someone having to live with someone like that. And it's not even ignorance, it's just stupidity. So apparently she's from somewhere on the East Coast, and apparently she went to Georgetown, and I'm just like, you're supposed to be smart. You're supposed to be smart, but you're stupid. You're really stupid. Anyways, I just have been burning to tell that story like forever. I just need to like get that off my chest before I forget what happened. And yeah, hopefully you guys can hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully it was a good video. I'm still trying to figure out how to film and whatnot, but let me know what you would have done in the comments below, and let me know if you think what she said made sense, and let me know if you met somebody like this, someone from small town over the East Coast. Yeah, she dated a black guy and still said something crazy like this to me. Anyways, I still have to see this girl once every like few weeks, just for the next month, and then like whatever, school's over. So let me know what you think, and talk to you guys later. Bye.